Hello, everyone. I'm Dave, and I'm here with Kate, and she contacted us about a month or so ago, saying she'd like to tell what's going on with her. Um, and she's been targeted since 2020. Um, I'm just to let y'all know it was been a crazy morning. Everything seemed to go wrong, but we made it. Perps have been at it again. And I didn't answer emails yet. We had to go to a different thing to answer emails because no matter how many times you put the correct password in on this device we use to answer our emails, it will not uh, go to internet. But we do have another thing hooked up and we put the passwords in and stuff, so we will be answering any emails we haven't answered. So they're trying all kinds of ways, but we're not going to let it work. Um, so anyway, Kate, I'm glad you came out and to give us your testimony. And the reason there's been a little people saying, well, all you do is collect testimonies, blah, blah, blah. The reason I collect testimonies is because if you knew how many emails we've got since we've done these testimonies, which was my whole goal from the beginning, is we've got many emails stating, I'm not a target, and I didn't believe in the whole program, and I thought my friend was crazy, or I thought somebody was crazy that told me that. But after seeing all these unscripted, you could tell they're unscripted people saying stuff, saying the same thing. I really believe countless emails, and that was my goal from the start. And also, countless people have said watching these interviews, um, they find stuff they relate with. They try stuff that other people try that talked about that's tried. Plus, it lets them know they're not alone. And so these interviews really help, regardless of what people say we're doing or why we're doing anything. And uh, I want to ask you before we start, Kate, did we contact you and coerce you anyway, or try to talk you into doing this interview?
Not at all.
Okay, yeah, because there's been lots of slander in the community saying that's all. In the first 2 years, if people would actually take the time and look, the first 2 years, my videos were all information, and I can do all information videos. But like I wanted I'm hoping my dad and other people that said this wasn't real, because I used to tell my father, I used to say, look at all these people on YouTube saying this. Well, now there's a whole collection, and it's helped a lot of people, regardless of what people say or think. So anyway, let's get back to
That's the goal, to spread
yeah,
testimonies.
that's the goal, to spread testimonies and show that this is real. And on top of giving people, targeting individuals, hearing other people go through it, knowing they're not alone, and trying different stuff and different advice that other people try, because everybody's targeting is unique. But I've had many people email me and say, David, I thanks for that interview today. It really helped me in this area. It really helped me in that area. So it is helping people. So anyway, Kate, thank you for coming and contacting us
Give
to
your time.
give your time. My first question, I guess, would be, what was your life like before you was targeted, and how has it changed since targeting?
Um, I guess the targeting this time around, life was it was okay. It was just normal. You could go to the supermarket, you could go where you want, and not have throngs of people attempting to swarm you or run you off the road or anything like that. This apartment building, which only at the time had 6 apartments, um, was filled with your regular everyday working people. Those people had lived, many of them, in this apartment building for like 11 years. It was fairly stable. You see the same people coming and going. Everybody left everybody alone and just did their thing. So life was just life. This neighborhood was relatively quiet and peaceful, not a lot of cars back and forth. The housing across the street was basically like an abandoned, sort of decrepit-looking house. Um, yeah, it was a quiet, peaceful place to live, and people left each other alone. You can go do your shopping, do your thrift market, stuff. Go to different houses for what are those called when people sell their stuff out of their homes, all
Yard
that kind of.
sales.
Yeah, you
I
know.
remember those.
Mhm.
Uh, so, do you know how you're, or when, could you explain how this, when you noticed this going on and how it started and when you said, hey, there's something wrong here?
Um, yeah, stuff started to be wrong when I was, the reason I moved down here was to be near a group of like-minded individuals that consider themselves Christian. I was noticing some things that did not quite align with my personal values and what they claimed their values were. And it took me quite some time to leave that group, but I wanted to know what was really going on. So I kind of, stuck around and observed for a bit while they had their meetings. People kept coming to me and complaining about this, that, and the other things that they were also seeing were contradictory. So eventually I left, and with the leaving, I kept seeing some of them at the supermarket. They seemed to be trying to find out if I was leaving the group and all of this kind of stuff. And so that's when I noticed that I was sort of being followed. And I didn't know if they had something attached to my car or whatever. But I finally told them that, yeah, I was going. That aspect of it stopped. And it started to broaden to just your general people that I did not know. Um, while I was thinking about leaving that group, I used to get up in the middle of the night, not able to sleep, and I sit in my car, smoke a cigarette, and just think about things. And across the street would be what looked like a couple of people hanging out there, but I didn't really take much notice of it. I didn't call the cops. I didn't see anything to call the cops. But the reason I'm telling you that part is because it seemed to kind of align with the leaving of the group. So I don't know who called who had a problem with what. Um, it could just been that, the people across the street were up to no good. And so, they put me on a list. Who knows how these things happen? Um, some people have a clearer idea, but I really don't know. And with that, I started to, they started moving people. The people that lived here started moving out, and other people started moving in, but these were not regular people. These were people that then really did not seem to have much to do in terms of having a regular job. They were just always hanging out in some way, shape, or form. And that also led to me, the start of targeting happening at my job. And yeah, I'll just say it, they seem to bring in people who were new. So this happened around 2020 when, the world kind of went a little crazy, and we lost a lot of our regular people then who did not return from that. We were out for about 6 months. This is a child care facility, federally funded. And so a lot of those people did not come back, or they came back for a little bit, but they then left. And almost immediately, there started to be an infiltration of different types of people who do not seem to be competent in their jobs, but are just there to sort of target. And that's where the workplace harassment began. And that's a really long answer. But yeah.
Right. So you're basically, you work for a child care place. You're
Mhm,
serious about taking care of the children, and you got people
mhm.
that are there just to get a paycheck.
That
And
they
they
have
and they
now,
seem to
yes.
and they seem to bully you because you're serious about your job and take your job serious and care about the kids.
I think that that's just part of the targeting, because it initially started with people moving into this building. Um, and then I, started getting targeted on the road, where people jump out in front of you, try to run you off the road, all of that nonsense. The traffic around this area significantly increased, um, and targeted at work as well as any place that I dare go. If I leave the state, targeted out of state.
Wow. So you get aggressively stalked, they
Mm-hmm.
try to run you off the road. So do you think this stems a little bit from workplace harassment too? I know because I went through workplace harassment and bullying due to um a severe case of carpal tunnel due to being put on a job. I was only supposed to do 1 round and they made me do 3 rounds every day. And OSHA standards said I was only supposed to do 1 round. So when they found out I had come down with a severe case of carpal tunnel, I was starting to get workplace bullied and harassed. So I know all about that. That's why I'm asking you that question. Do you think it stems some from the work?
This is stemming, I think, from whatever um, plan they had to target me and other people. Um, Prior to the targeting, I mean, I was working there for maybe about 5 years, and there were just regular people there doing a job. Everybody was competent with what, regard to their job because they'd been there quite some time. And I had worked very hard to develop a good relationship with pretty much everyone there, whether I liked them or not. And I was seen as somebody who was a hard worker. Why do I think that? Because they would tell me, and they would always be glad to have me in their classroom. I was a substitute, and people would constantly tell me, "Oh, I'm so glad that you're working with me today because we know that you work and you do a good job and you always show up to work," and all of that. After the targeting started, all of a sudden people went out of their way and still do to attempt to make me think and feel and look as if I am not competent in the work that I do, which is very difficult for them to do because a lot of these people are new and incompetent with regard to the job that they're doing. So there's a clear change in terms of pre-targeting behavior and post, targeting or current targeting behavior.
Have you like reported it to your job, like your supervisors?
Um, Regarding, well, they are also involved, I believe, and it's coming from the top to probably people that I don't even personally know are involved. It seems as if people are receiving instructions, and the reason I think that is mainly because I think it was last March, so not this past March of this year, but March of 2024, when it seemed as if everybody got instructions to basically lose their minds and start acting in ways that they never acted before. And what that, I guess, practically looked like were people then went out of their way to hang out in front of our classroom, which has never happened before. Um, People who went out of their way to block the hallways, which has never happened before. People who have children running back and forth in the hallways, which has never happened before. We've had a strict rule to keep children from running in the hallways for their safety purposes. So it was as if normal individuals were given instructions to act in a certain way that they never would have thought to act before, but they didn't know what to do, right? So
Right,
your normal individual does not know how to target people because we don't engage in that behavior. So it's almost
right,
as if they had to get up to speed with regard to whatever instructions they were given, which made them look weird. Now they'll never admit that to your face,
right,
and now with a year and a half's worth of practice, the behaviors look a bit more normal in quotes, but it's still strange behavior because it doesn't follow any of the rules that we are known to have. We're federally funded. We have tons of rules. We have statement of principles and all of that good great stuff. It's not some fly by night organization.
Right. And the goal I admire your ability to deal with the psyops and keep a job, because that's their goal and is to leave you without a job, homeless, and isolate you totally.
Hmm.
Um, so I really admire your ability to navigate through all the traps they set for you to make you lose your job.
Hmm.
Uh, so do you get hit with, do you experience weapons or attacks at all, like neural attacks, V2K, anything like that?
I think I experienced V2K time in this round, like meaning the last 5 years, and maybe they were testing things out, but I couldn't tell you exactly what the weaponry is that they are using. It feels like some type of microwave weapon because it's like an internal heating up. And they are doing things at night while I'm asleep. There's definite sleep deprivation. So, I mean, I think that's par for the course, regardless what is happening to the person. But a lot of it is sleep deprivation because it, works so well. But there's also the dream manipulation, I'll call it, because these are dreams I've never had in my whole entire life. Um, which are, really freakish dreams. They'll do that. Um, I think they have attempted to either poison me or insert some type of technology, basically get me to take some type of technology, but I can't say that for sure. Um, it's just a thought based on, times getting sick, or because I'm not a sickly person, I don't tend to get sick. I don't tend to have nausea or anything like that. I have been blessed with good health all of my life. And for these really unusual things to be happening, I think speaks to uh, things that they are doing, not all of a sudden I'm having, a round of bad luck with regard to health. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So when you get heated up, do you get vertigo, nausea? Do you notice any vibrations, anything like that?
There's some vibrational tool that they use. I don't know what that would be. Um, but there's also the heating up of my head at night that they're doing. And that coincides with the hearing the neighbors upstairs walking over my head because they love to, let me know that, where you're at in the apartment the entire, every time, no matter where you go. So
Right. So they're doing heavy noise campaigns.
it was heavier before with the first two individuals. They stuck around for about 4 years. I think they thought that I would have been gone by now, but for whatever reason, they left and installed two others upstairs, as far as I know. But all of the apartments in this building have been taken over. It's all them. They scared the last guy out that was across the hall from me. I don't know what they did to him, but I do believe that they targeted him just to get him out. And then the landlord built two apartments out of the storage units outside. I guess just to make me feel like I'm being surrounded. I don't know.
Right. Uh, how did you find out what targeted individuals were or anything about this program?
That goes back somewhat to the first round of targeting back in like 2004 when I looked up stalking on the internet because it was stalking, but it wasn't like this kind of stalking. It was just a general feeling, um, why is this happening? Why is that happening? And so I went to a stalking forum And, I explained the best I could what I thought was happening. And they said, that sounds like gang stalking. So that's when I first heard that term. And I started looking stuff up, but I didn't really get involved with any communities at that point.
Right. Uh, so, hmm. So do you, have they sent any honeypots your way? Anybody to try to, uh, become friends with you and behind the scenes gaslight you, uh, do stuff, odd stuff to you, or anything like that?
What they seem to be attempting to do, and this is really the part that I want to warn people about, because if this can happen to me, this can literally happen to anybody. Like, I especially want to warn men, but this can happen to women. Um, they're running a smear campaign, and I think that what they began with was, I'm stealing, I'm a loose woman, whatever. And they'll just go wherever I go. If I go to a store, then I think they tell people that I'm stealing. Um, Depending on where I go, I think the lie changes based on the reaction that they want from people. And I don't know what they're showing people on their phones, but it's nothing that I have actually done. So who knows if they have somebody else, who knows what they're doing. But at work, they are attempting to claim that I harm children, which I do not and have never. We have cameras everywhere. And I think this is why they have not fired me, because you can't fire somebody when nothing is happening. But they have definitely sent people into my job, some of them related to law enforcement, in order to keep this campaign going. I mean, they want something happening every single day so that they can build this case and, claim probable cause, I guess, against me. Well, it's always her, but they're utilizing children. This is what the really horrible part of it is. They're utilizing children. I don't know if they're scaring the children into trying to set me up or what it is, but the fact that they would go this far to do such a horrible thing, um, I'm just saying that your average innocent civilian out there really needs to know that this is happening.
Right. Oh, definitely. Somebody sent me something the other day that made sense. It says auditors, hypnotists, infiltrators go undercover into all sorts of victims' online spaces and join the conversation using intel from real life victims, connect with them, find out what their vulnerabilities are, and then do a 180 on them, attacking them on social media to break it up. They're trained trauma counselors who use their expertise in victims advocacy against victims after the victim bonds with them in private chats. It's beyond sinister, but is what they're doing to weaken communities that threaten their agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And the blacklisting, so when you go in stores, you can tell you're being watched and looked at weird, and like somebody's been told something about you, right?
Yeah, because I mean, at first everything's normal. Let's say I go into a store that I've never been in before. At least they don't know that I've been in before. Um, you know, it could take them about maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes to get there. I'm shopping in the store, everything's normal. And then all of a sudden, you notice that, somebody's been told something and they are now following me in the store or, giving me weird looks. Sometimes you run across somebody who just doesn't care to get involved, but there's usually some reaction from someone. So, yeah, I mean, when I would go to Target at times, just that they know that I'll go into Target at times in that particular Target, they would have their people already, waiting there. They utilize again their children. So I think these are trafficked children, and who knows what else, maybe SRA children. Um, I don't know. It's just I could never imagine that people would even do that to their own kids. Um, but yeah, they are big on hiding behind children. They'll use them to set people up, and I've heard that they do this with politicians and whatnot. So why not regular folks? Um, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because that's talking about politicians. Um, the whole Epstein thing. You know, I heard he was an agent the whole time, and what he would do is uh it just sort of gives you a bright of how they do it. Like any politician has dirt on them, and that was one of his one of his roles was to get dirt on people, and then you hold it over the politician's head, and they do whatever they want, and they get exposed. So
Hmm.
that's sort of what you're kind of. So they're trying to. I don't mean I don't know if that relates to your case, but I know they definitely use children. And I was on a bus one time, and this dude had his kid with him, and he had some device, and I can't remember what really happened. I just remember the kid was smiling at me and had the device in his hand, and he was whispering in his ear to the kid to do it. Um, but
Hmm.
it's kind of a cloudy memory, but I still remember it. So I definitely do think that these people are in some cases using children, and I'm sorry
Hmm.
you're going through that at work. But I'm glad there is cameras. That way they can see, hey, you're not doing nothing, you know?
Hmm. I mean, there's the regular people, and when I say regular people, I mean the people not involved in this system. So I think there are at least two groups that they break into. I think there's the ones that this is just what they do. They go from place to place, and they mess with people, and they're organized criminals, and they have no problem lying about things. And then you've got regular people who maybe they pull into it, they think they're doing a good thing, and they get involved, but I don't think that they would consciously lie about trying to set up somebody. Like they'll still try to set you up, but their setups is just so like basic that you just walk past them and they're not going to say, "Oh, something happened,"
Right. And I
But
definitely think mind
mhm.
control is being involved in some of these people too.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially the ones in the system, I think some of them are MK Ultra. You may not even be dealing with the actual person. Do you know what I mean? Like they may have alters and who knows what else is going on. I'm just taking that based on what the SRA people have said on other podcasts. But it is, it's so insane. And I do think that there is an entire blackmail operation and, just mixed up with drugs and child trafficking in this area. Because I mean, I've even heard stories about, other people trying to set other people up. So this is kind of the world we're living in.
Right. Did you ever at one time did you have a lot of friends and family that you were close to? If
Had
so,
a,
did they isolate you from them? Did you notice, hey, these people just stopped associating with me all of a sudden? Did you ever
I've
do it?
never had like a huge amount. Um, what this particular group seems to do, they're very covert in terms of the way they do things. And I don't know if that's because they um, are not proficient in what they do or if they're just extra careful because they're not trying to get caught. But I do believe they've gotten to some family members based on the change in how these people relate to me. But nobody has like cut me off, if that makes sense. So it's like they'll
Yeah.
say something that they would never normally say. Um, one said she wrote me in a text, and that's another thing. It's like people all of a sudden don't want to talk to you on the phone necessarily, but they want to relate to you in a text. Um, but she said something about being duplicitous, which is not even a word she would ever say. Like that's not a
And
vocabulary word.
it might not even have been her.
Well, that's possible. I think it was her, but
Oh, okay.
it is true. It might not have even been her. But I was like, what in the world? Like, never in your whole entire life would you ever have used this word. But yeah, I mean, it's just odd stuff that happens, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I have not actually experienced like direct cutoff. I don't think.
Right. And a lot of times what they'll do is uh they'll put so much psyops on you. You reach out to your family with this story and then tell your family what's going on, and then they shy away just because you've told them some kind
Mm,
of story, and they're like, "Wow, okay, I don't know what's going on with this with my brother, but uh,
hmm
he's lost it, so I'm just gonna back off." And then because they play all kinds of games. Uh,
Yeah.
they use influence mapping and all that and negative association conditioning because this program, a part of it's designed to run the psyops on you and uh let you make the bad decisions to destroy yourself.
Yes. They love when you act against your own best interests, and I do totally agree with that. I think that they expected me to leave my job, especially after last year, and they have about 9 people at work who do not have their proper educational certifications because quite a few of these people just come out of high school. That's another part of it. Um, and now they're scrambling all of a sudden, like after the last 2 months, to get these people certified. I think they thought I was going to leave, and then that way they can just get their people out of there. So now we're seeing this is the last week coming up of school. We're going to see whether or not they try to hang on and get this certification. But I mean, this is your taxpayer dollars uh, going towards this. These people are in there who, under normal circumstances, would never have been hired. So they're going, up under the law to get these people in there. They're with people's children. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. Uh, could you give any examples? And if you can't off the top, that's okay, because some people just can't think of stuff. But could you give any examples of kind of like psyops they run on you or games they play with you, gaslighting or stuff like that?
One that they really, really love to do has to do with doors, like going in and out of doors. And what they are constantly trying to do is they'll hold the door open. This just happened last week again. They'll hold the door open. Doesn't matter which way the door is going, they'll hold the door open, and you will take the door or, from them and, walk behind them, or you can go through the door as they're holding the door. And either way, it seems like they will claim like, something inappropriate has happened. Now I've got stuff in my hands because I take my computer to work because I don't know. I've suspected that there have been break-ins, and so I'm all constantly carrying stuff. I got that. I got my lunch. I got whatever, and my drink in my hand. With which hand am I supposed to be touching people? But yet and still, that seems to be one of their favorite things to do. And I think they do it because they think it works so often, you know. But again, there's cameras.
Right.
So that's like a heads up to people of things that they like to do. They'll even do that if you go to the store, not to make people paranoid, but I mean, it's just so ridiculous.
Then they'll
Uh,
act like you did something inappropriate.
yeah, because you have to get close to the person in
Right.
order to do it. A lot of their other psyops they have a hard time doing because if you don't react to it or you don't move toward them, they have to come toward you. I mean, how can they claim something's happened if they're like 20 feet away from you or whatever? But I think they like this particular one because if you have to go into the building, if you're going to work, you have to get into the building. And this way, they think that they can force you into, incriminating yourself.
Right. Uh, well, how do well what's ways you cope with all this stuff?
Prayer, um, meditation, One thing that really helped me was really sitting with those feelings because, they like to run your emotions. So I would just kind of, when I go home, just like lay quietly and deal with the emotion that they have me going by. Let's say I get home and there's something that's worrying me or I'm afraid or whatever. I just really sit with that emotion and I don't run from it. And that way I'm taking my power back and not allowing them to be able to keep pushing my buttons. A lot of times that'll dissipate the emotion so that the next time they do it, they don't have, they're not pulling your strings constantly because that's what they really want to do. They want control over our emotional state. That's what they're doing to the people at work where they've got them scared to death. Oh my goodness, what is she doing now? What is she, you know what I mean? And it's like everybody's running off fear. And that's what happened back in 2020 when they had everybody running off fear. So it's for us to take charge of that, of our own emotional state, take responsibility for that so that they can't keep pushing our buttons.
Right. Would you say when this first started occurring, they did a good job at pushing your buttons,
Oh
making
my
you
goodness.
anxious?
Yes, they did, because that was when that was like 20 years ago, and I didn't know what was happening, and I did what everybody else does, which is to move from the apartment, and you move from your job, and I went traveling because my mother had passed not too long before that, and I was just country hopping, and yes, it does follow countries. If people want to know, but or at least they can. I won't say directly, but also the technology at that point in time, people weren't uh, doing the smartphone. I don't even know if we had smartphones 20 years ago, but they couldn't do with that technology what they wanted to do, like your average individual. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Like Brian too, we seen him go from uh what, El Salvador to Russia,
Mm-hmm,
Russia and Europe and everywhere, and
mm-hmm,
it never stopped for him. So yeah, that's one thing they'll do, especially if you're watching this and you're newly targeted. You need to think before you move, especially if you've got any kind of nest egg and you're first targeted and you got a
mm-hmm,
nest egg or something. I
mm-hmm,
was in 12 states in 6 months trying to escape this and fell for it every time and just ran through my money and was like, wow. And then I
mm-hmm,
was really in trouble after I ran through my money. And that's what they want to do too, is deplete your
mm-hmm.
finances, isolate you.
Yes.
Um, yeah, and then when you're done pushed everybody away or they turned everybody against you, then you're free game for real.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Absolutely. So when this started happening this time, while I did not want to believe it, I stuck with it, which is why I'm still at that job. Because under normal circumstances, I probably left this job and left this apartment by now. But you know, I'm I don't know if I would be able to get another job. Do they have me on a blacklist? Or are they intending on blacklisting me? You know what I mean? It wouldn't surprise me if they were to try that. So this is why I stick it out.
And that's
Because I
awesome.
mean, yeah, I've got the experience beforehand to know what, abnormal behavior looks like. But yeah, they're the ones that have to get up to speed, bringing all their new people into work. You know what I mean? Like they have to learn the job and they have to figure out, well, hey, I'm going to target somebody while watching toddlers. So, yeah.
Right. And I can imagine it can be very stressful watching toddlers and then worry. Then you got to worry about, like you said, them saying you're abusing toddlers, but thank God for cameras.
Hmm.
Um, but that's got to be hell watching over your shoulder every day dealing with that. But I'm glad that you see through the game and you
Hmm.
refuse to quit your job and you just do your job as normal.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
that's awesome because so many of us have quit our jobs. I know I quit a job because of targeting 3 or 4 times. Uh, I would freak out and just, I'd have to leave.
Hmm.
Um,
I wouldn't say any one decision's better than the other because each person has to make that decision on their own. Like, let's say you work in a place that is very public. Like, I have a classroom, so there's only, like they literally sent some kid in on Friday because this is how desperate they're getting. But let's say if we were working like retail or something, you got people all around you all the time. That's like really rough, you know?
Oh yeah. And I'm trying to. Is there any advice you would give to my viewers today, who are targeted or newly targeted?
Um, just basically what you were saying. Don't make any rash decisions at first. I'm not saying don't move or don't leave your job, but just think carefully about what it is that you want to do. Make the move or the change work for you in the best way that you can make it. You know what I mean? But to I don't know, to leave without really thinking about it can put you in a far worse position. It could set you on a path, a spiral that you might not be able to come back from.
Yeah, because once they get you in fight or flight, well, good episode of fight or flight, then you're making bad decision after bad decision after
Hmm.
bad decision because you're making
Absolutely.
decisions on the fly and out of your emotions and out of
Hmm.
fear. And then you've done destroyed your life, and then they got so much plausible deniability you can't prove it. Then you're more
Hmm.
stressed out, so it's just a domino effect all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, I'm trying to uh has this a have all right, so you've took hold of you've been able to take hold of your anxiety and stuff and deal with it a lot better than usual. But did it affect your health at first, like with the stress and stuff?
Um, if at first we mean like 20 years ago, yeah, because I had no idea this was even a thing. I mean, who can even imagine that such a thing can happen to people? And I didn't even know how bad it could get at that point. Like this second time around has really been quite an education, but I needed that first time to really allow me to understand this situation, that I'm experiencing now. If I was going through this situation for the first time, I mean, I think I would have definitely moved and I would have ended up in like who knows what, situation. Um,
And who knows, it may you said it started in 2004. It may have never ended. They may have just
that's a
took a
possibility.
break.
That's a possibility. Some I will never really know, but whatever it was so covert as to not be noticeable. Because I mean, they can surveil people, and you would
Yeah,
never
they
even know that
profile
you're
you.
surveilled. That's the thing about it. It's like why surveil people and let them know that they're surveilling them? Just surveil them. You know what I mean?
Right. And plus, they spend years profiling you because they want to modify it. I don't know if you've seen my video about the influence mapping and behavior modification. That's one of their goals is well, the ultimate goal is for you to end it, but if they can't get you to end it, they want to it's behavior modification. They want you
And
to live
not
in
in a good
fear. They
way.
want to create phobias in you. They want to uh you know make you basically scared of your own skin.
I think that's one thing that they want. I think they don't care how you get in the box, as long as you get in the box. So if you're not necessarily running off fear, then I think what they'll try to do is just mind control you so that you become somebody that you uh, would not normally be. They want you to engage in actions that you would never engage in your whole entire life. You know what I mean? So if they can get you um, into some kind of like let's say prostitution, some illegal behavior,
Right.
I think they will try to do that with people. If they try to get you on substances or whatever it is, I don't think they care. They're just trying to get you to a place where they can utilize you for their system.
Right. Right. Because so many there's been a lot of TIs turn to alcohol,
Hmm.
drugs is the answer, uh
Hmm.
and just make bad decisions.
Hmm.
Um uh that's all the questions I have. Do you have anything else you would like to add or that I didn't cover that you would like to cover?
Um, I'll tell people that I believe, and I'm not super religious, but I will say I'm religious enough. This is a spiritual battle, and people really need to start getting on board with the idea that these people are going to force us all to make a decision for one way or the other, and they might really want to start getting into some prayer. And getting with people maybe who are targets who are like-minded, so that they have somebody to talk to. If you find yourself in that situation, do not do everything that you can and not become isolated. But this is the spiritual battle. I think we all came here to experience this. I have learned so much. I mean, so many things I'd never wanted to learn in my whole entire life, I've had to learn in this experience. And in that sense, I'm grateful for it. I'm not happy, but I have to
Right.
have learned it this way, but there's no other way I would have learned it.
Right. Well, I really appreciate you coming in and giving your experience. And another thing I think we need to point out too is if you're a loving individual and you care about animals, other people, humanity in itself, don't never let them take that from you because
Mm-hmm.
I was on a downward spiral. I was homeless and targeted. And I was at a place where I was bitter and thought everybody was in on it, so screw everybody. And I had to bring myself. I'm glad I was able to bring myself out of that dark place, but I realized that's what they want. They want you to become bitter. They want to steal the loving person you are, and turn you into a
Mm-hmm.
cold, mean, hateful person.
Yes, yes, they do, and they will do it. When you were asking before about, you want to go find your cat and stuff. Look, I understand because I used to visit some people. We go play Uno on Saturday nights and whatnot. This person had maybe about four cats, and this was close to the beginning of this round of that targeting, and that person, three of them cats passed. Now I think the first one was up in age, but I do think they did something to the other two cats, and I constantly see the way they treat their own children, how they use them, the way they do. They don't, they will not blink at destroying anything. They really don't care. I guess they figure they're just, oh, just another sacrifice for Satan, or whatever it is they think. But they don't have any problems with that. So yeah, when you needed to go find that animal, I was like, you go find that animal because they will. While you're sitting in the house, you know, interviewing me, yes, they will. So
Right. Yeah. And I'm trying to think. And what I have done with interviews is ask people to if somebody brought it to my mind, my attention, maybe have people use a different name in the interview. That way, it can't be used against them at a later time uh, if they're trying to do a lawsuit, and that's what we've done. So, um, and I hope people understand that. But really, I really thank you for coming out, and I really hope that you keep enduring, uh, and keep your job no matter what, and keep the attitude that you have. Um, and I don't know if you're in touch with any other targets like you recommended, but if you are, then I hope you're giving them hope and encouraging them and helping them because you did give some good advice and a lot of targets need that and are so targeted they can't keep a job. So I'm sure uh, this will give targets hope that hey, it is possible.
mhm,
To hold a job. And I know I have my own. I'm one to talk. I have my own thing to overcome with this agoraphobia, and I'm hoping one day I can.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
but
Yeah, we
until
should
then, I will
talk about
continue.
that.
Till then, I continue to do my part around around, around the house and do, Holly works and I try to do my part around the house and keep everything uh, where functioning where, she don't when she comes home everything's done.
Hmm. Yeah, don't you beat yourself up about that kind of thing, or some of the things that uh, they want to say about you and all that kind of nonsense. They will try to find anything that they can say about you, and 9 times out of 10, they're really talking about themselves. That
Right.
really is it. It's like they are just deflecting um, everything about themselves onto other people because these people are liars. They are liars. And y'all, I'm glad that y'all have each other. I really was glad to see that, that there are people that are trying to stay together and stuff.
Right. And I hope ever Target finds somebody. But see, a lot of Targets think it's impossible, and I thought it was impossible until it happened. So don't ever think it is impossible because see, a lot of people um think it's impossible to meet somebody and be with somebody, so they don't even look. And I'm not gonna lie, like I've always gave friendships a try, with people and Targets and stuff, and uh however, I always thought that ever friendship and stuff was organized, orchestrated against me and all that. And when you have that attitude, it's always going to end that way. But if you have an attitude, well, I might as well take a chance. I'm so isolated. I might as well take a chance with a friendship. Uh,
Hmm.
with Holly, we wasn't even looking for a relationship. So it just came out of the blue. And, I spent years on the streets. And if anybody would have told me that I would have a YouTube channel helping people or would meet somebody, I would have probably cussed them out and told them to get out of my face because I was so miserable, homeless, and being stalked everywhere I went, and weapons, and made to pee my pants when they knew I couldn't, because they
Hmm.
can make you use the
Right.
bathroom and everything. So my point there is don't never give up and sometimes you have to take chances if you're going to find a friend or somebody, you have to take a chance. Okay, it might be a perk, but if I don't take the chance, I might never know.
Hmm. Yeah. I guess the last thing I wanted to say to people is we need more and more and more targeted people to keep coming out, just like they're
Yeah.
doing in the SRA community. Those people also they understand our situation because they've seen even crazier things than we have. But yeah, we all need to start helping each other and telling our stories and stuff.
Right. And if everything goes good, tomorrow we'll be having a special guest on James Martinez, and he was the first MK Ultra whistleblower, and was good friends with Walter Bauer, who wrote the book Operation Mind Control. And there's an Operation Mind Control Research Edition, which is more extensive. So, it is scheduled tomorrow, so I'm hoping that it goes through, and that I can ask the right questions for everybody to understand. So I just want to let y'all know that. But if it don't happen, then something in the works messed it up. But anyway, I thank you for coming out, Kate. And is there anything else?
Um, no, I think that's about it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna
Oh, if
stop.
anybody is sorry, if anybody out there is part of this organized groups, please come out and be a whistleblower. We need your information.
All
Yes,
right.
amen.
Fight the mind control of what everybody's going to think, and be a hero, even if you sacrifice yourself.
Amen.
Because we've had many conversations about this, and and I think that's really the only way that's going to end is if you have somebody who was part of the program, knows all
Hmm.
about it, and was big in it, come out and be a whistleblower.
Yep, just take one for the team. Like,
Right. In the name of humanity,
yes.
you'd be a hero.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna stop recording this. Thanks again for coming out. Hold on, I'm gonna hit the stop button so we can say our goodbyes. I really appreciate you coming out and giving your experience, and I hope it's given other target individuals hope. And I hope, because I really think it's important uh, for target individuals to know that there is hope. It may look dim, and another thing I've noticed is some people's targeting they're targeting everybody different to different extremes. Some people's targeting is more extreme than others, and that creates a bunch of confusion in the community. But anyways, I'm rambling, so I'm gonna end the recording.